posted an income breakdown for what I made in July, and then I asked if you guys wanted to see more of it, and you said that you did, but then I stopped working. And since I basically did no work for a month and a half, ignore all my dirty dishes, we're gonna break down what I made in August and September, but it's gonna be mostly passive income, so that way we can see what realistically passive income can look like, since I started working full-time for myself less than a year ago, but it gave me the freedom to do no work for like a month and a half while I built out this whole van. And if you're new to the channel and don't know what I do to make money, I make these YouTube videos, and I also sell stuff on Amazon, but that's been going really poorly lately. And you'll probably understand why by the end of this video. Normally what my work consists of is every 2 weeks sending in a shipment to Amazon that has about $1,500 worth of inventory in it, and then I'll post 3 videos on YouTube a week. I'm lowering that to 2 while we're in the van for now, while I figure out how to have a good workflow. But let's quickly take a look at what I did in August and then how much that made me. I use Inventory Lab to send in all of my shipments to Amazon. So when we pull that up and we go and look at the previous batches that I made, which are my shipments into Amazon, we can see that the last one was done on July 30th. Now, it was a pretty big shipment with over 800 units. And you can't really count that shipment for July because it was on the last day of July. So that'll contribute to a lot of what happened in my Amazon account in August. But since I had done all that work up front, technically the money that I earned in August was all passive because I didn't do any more work that month. I also didn't do any listings on eBay or anything like that, which isn't too important, but we'll get to that in a second. Then, like I said, I normally had posted 3 videos a week on YouTube. But if we head over into my YouTube studio, we could see that for August, I only posted 6 videos and I did 2 live streams. I was trying to do a live stream every other week before this point, so this is essentially half the work because one of the live streams was just choosing a giveaway winner and it wasn't actually any work. I just had to announce who the winner was. I wanted to keep going to make videos, but since I had to build this van out in essentially a month because we pushed up our timeline, I was only able to do half of the work that I wanted to do. So we'll consider half of the income from YouTube passive income for that month, just to see how much we made in passive versus active income. So with that context, let's take a look to see how much we made in the month of August first, and we'll get to September in a second. First, let's take a look at Amazon FBA and eBay for that matter. I actually sold some things on eBay, even though, like I told you before, I stopped doing anything for my eBay business. So for the month of August, I actually had $430 of sales, which is just 8 units, but after all of eBay's fees, I got paid out $290.57. My average cost for a unit was around $20 because most of those were shoes, some of them were phone cases, but if we subtract that out, then I made about $125 from eBay, which is a nice bonus that I had forgotten about. Here are my Amazon sales for the month of August. $7,766 in total, which was 623 units. And for not sending in any new shipments, we won't talk about the one at the end of July, that's really not that bad. If you've been here a while and watched me break down my numbers before, you'll know that I needed about $270 per day in sales in order to sustain how I was living. And I honestly got pretty close with $250 while sending in about half the inventory that I normally would over a 32 day period. Now this would really be good news for passive income on Amazon, but as we'll see in September, since I didn't send anything else in, it really dropped off a cliff. But before we get there, let's actually break down the profit and loss statement for Amazon so you can see all the fees and stuff and what actually turns out to be profit versus the $7,700 of revenue. Because if that was all profit, I'd be a very happy man. Now, just like how I send in inventory, I also use Inventory Lab to look at P&L statements, but I really don't do that much because I use a different way of accounting. If you don't have Inventory Lab yet and you want to try it out, I have a free 30-day trial below that will help out the channel. But if you do use it, all you have to do is go up here to reports and then down to profit and loss, and then you could choose any specific month and see how well you've been doing for that month in terms of raw numbers. Because Inventory Lab will pull all of that data from Amazon itself. And if we look at Inventory Lab for that month, we'll see that it was a relatively normal returns month. I got $434 in returns, which is a lot. And that's one of the things that people ask about a lot is returns. You're gonna get them. You're running a retail business, and the more you sell, the more returns you'll get. So as long as the ratio is like anywhere lower than 3%, I'm normally pretty happy with it. This month was like 5%, which is a lot, but it's not the end of the world. I still made some money. Moving down further, we can take a look at the rest of these costs down here, and we had a total of $6,000 of expenses, $2,600 of which were actually just the cost of goods sold. So that's what I paid for all the stuff that was sold in the month of August, even though I paid it beforehand. If you really want to get nerdy about it, we can talk about cash-based accounting versus accrual-based accounting. And since I do cash-based accounting, but that's really not an important distinction, except for the fact that I didn't buy any new inventory. So instead of cycling that into new inventory, I actually was able to pay down debt in my business from that $2,600 of cash flow that came back to me since I didn't buy anything else. I hope that makes sense. The crappy part about that, though, is that the other $3,400 in fees went right over to Amazon for selling fees, transaction fees, shipping charges, and all of that fun stuff. But I was still able to net a profit of $1,562.67. But then I still had to pay another couple $100 in software fees. I guess I was still using the software even though I wasn't actively using it, so I still paid a couple $100 more in software fees. So that means that on Amazon, even though I didn't do any work in the month of August, I made $1,300 in net profits, which brings us to about $1,425 overall for reselling, passive income, ish, if you want to qualify it as that. Maybe, I guess you could say like $700 or $800 of passive income, since I still had a shipment that was sent in that got checked in by Amazon in August. But I didn't do any work, so I'm going to count that. It just makes me feel better. Now, moving on to talk about YouTube, I do have a couple income sources there, which I'm really grateful for you guys for. What's unfortunate is now that I moved into the van, I had to downsize my number of dry erase boards. So now I'm having to reuse this dry erase board while I talk about YouTube stuff too. So for YouTube, I have 3 ways that I'm making money right now. Hopefully this will be more in the future, but for now, this is what it is. First is affiliate marketing, which is basically where I have links down below the video. If you buy something from the link or you follow it to get your Inventory Lab or Be Cool subscriptions, I'll end up getting a commission from that since you use my link in order to get there. The second is super chats, and that's why live streams were important to me, because when I would go live, you guys were so kind enough to donate money to me just to support the channel, so I make a large percentage of that. And then the third way, which is the main way, is YouTube ad revenue. That might actually not be the main way for long, but we'll get to that probably in this next month's income breakdown. And I still don't have any brand deals, so if you own a brand and you need someone to sell out for you, I won't do that, but hit me up. The main sources that I have to make money from affiliate marketing are my repricer and then the 2 different inventory softwares and sourcing softwares that I use that are all linked in the description, as well as Amazon, but they deleted my associate's account again. For the month of August, in total for affiliate marketing, I ended up making $30.24. There was technically more money that I earned in this month, but since I'm doing cash-based accounting, this is the money that actually went into my account. I did earn money that's going to be deposited later, but I need to meet like a $50 threshold on one of the programs that I'm in. Since Super Chats are all about live streams, I actually only ended up doing one value-driven live stream, and the other one was just giving away the Be Cool winner for the subscription. So I only had one live stream where I got Super Chats, but you guys are still so generous, so I ended up making $15.40 from that. My ad revenue for this month was actually $60 more than it was the last month, even though I made 6 less videos, which is really cool. And that's one of the things that just kind of goes to show about passive income, that even though I did less work, the work that I had done kept getting compounded upon, so I ended up making more money. That's in the door. No cars coming? Got it. Okay. So for the month of August, I made $521.85 in estimated revenue. So if we subtract out this $15.40, it was $506.45 in ad revenue, which also includes YouTube Premium revenue. And I just say ad revenue because it's the revenue that I get for people just viewing my videos. So that means in total from YouTube, in the month of August, I made $551.09. And since I did half the work I normally do, I guess we can call about $275 of that passive income. So if we add back in the revenue from reselling, my income in the month of August, why did I say it like that? Was around $1,725. And I guess we could count one shipment and half of the work on YouTube. So about $850 of that, $862.50 was passive, which is not that bad. Now, I don't think that this is talked about a ton, but if your income like mine is semi-passive, whereas if you don't do a lot of work, you'll still make some money, but if you actually actively work on your business, you'll make much, much more. It's reasonable to think that the less work you do, the less money you'll make. And that's true in most cases, but I'm going to write down the numbers from each category, and then we're going to compare it with September to see what the differences might be. And I think some things might surprise you because they did surprise me. All right, let's set the stage. It's October. It's September. It's been more than a month since I've sent any shipments into Amazon. I also haven't posted any videos on YouTube in 2 weeks. And so for the whole month, I do essentially no work. I do a little bit of work to get back into the swing of things at the end of the month, but I don't do anything outward facing that can actually bring me in revenue for the whole month of September. I feel very stupid and overwhelmed right now because I'm having to make that money back. So I wrote down all the numbers here, and if we made less money, I'm going to put it in red. If we made more money, I'm going to do it in green. Starting out again, we'll talk about eBay. If you look at eBay for the month of September, I did $65 total in sales, only 2 units, $30 in net sales, because one was a phone case and one was a pair of shoes, I believe. So for eBay for the month, I'm pretty sure I made like a profit of $10 just about. So we'll just put $10 down here, obviously in red, because that's way less than $125. For Amazon, I still had a lot of inventory there, like $5,000 or $6,000 worth of inventory that's sitting at Amazon, but I'm really waiting on prices to get a little higher for Q4 and just sitting on it waiting to make at least 50% return on investment. I could drop the price and probably sell it at a break-even point, but I didn't really want to. So let's look at what September looked like. We can even just tell, since I still haven't sent anything in, that October is super low. We're already over half the month. I just got stuff so I can actually send a shipment in, but I'm very nervous about my Amazon business. But for the month of September right here, we could take a look and see that we sold 331 units, but they sold for much lower prices because it wasn't as good goods. So it was $3,320 total, in revenue. Now, if we pop back over onto Inventory Lab, we'll be able to see how much that turns out to be in terms of net profit, as well as fees, returns, and everything like that. And for September, we see that I got $228 in returns. That's even more than the previous month. The cost of goods sold was just around $1,200, and the total fees were $2,900, so another $17 into Amazon's pocket, for a total net profit of around $633.40. The problem is, even though my sales on Amazon were a lot lower, the subscription fees that I still pay for were the same. So I ended up paying the same over around $200 in subscriptions and stuff. So our Amazon profit was around $400 of net profit, which stinks, but for not having done anything for Amazon in 2 full months, to still make $400 of just net profit is actually a pretty cool thing. Not stoked on it, but I'm happy that I made something. Now, YouTube is where things get a little bit more interesting. It is the thing that I'm more passionate about, and I'm hoping that more of my income can be put into YouTube, and you might see why when we go through these numbers. Now, on YouTube, you kind of get paid for your views, so you would think that the amount of views that you get will correlate to the amount of money that you make. So in August, I got 22,288 views, and then in September, I got 9,989. Now, that's just a little bit under 45% of the amount of views that I got in August. So you would think that I would make 45% of the money that I made in August overall. Now, if that was the case, then you would expect YouTube to make me $255, because that's 45% of the about $550 that we made last month. So let's see if with these 3 different income sources I can reach that $255. And the first thing that we're going to look at is affiliate marketing. And this is where things actually get a little bit interesting. And this is the first month where I really thought affiliate marketing could actually be a viable revenue source for me. I've been putting links in my videos for a while and been making a little tiny bits of money, like a pittance, like a couple cents or a couple dollars, which I'm really grateful for, but I have been putting a lot of energy into it. And this month, I put 0 energy into it, and I ended up still making, coming into my bank account, not including the thing that I still haven't gotten paid out for, which I still probably made another $20 from, $101.35 into my bank account, my business account. Now, that is over 3 times as much as it was the month before. And from what we're going to get to next month, I'm just blown away by how much potential there is in this income source. And so if you have an audience online and you're not doing affiliate marketing, I would just look into it. It will take you a little bit of time to set up front, but I really haven't had to do anything except for just say that I have links like I do in the description right now. And because some of them will pay out over a 6-month or 12-month time period, as long as people keep their subscription, I'm going to be making that money and more the more people continue to pile on to use my link, which I'm so grateful for, and it doesn't cost you guys anything additional to do it. What's crazy about this is this alone, this $101, is 40% of what I expect to make overall from YouTube, because I took the overall YouTube money, not just what I made from ad revenue. And again, if we go and look at Super Chats, I ended up making obviously $0 because I didn't do any live streams. It'd be pretty much impossible for me to make any money from Super Chats if I didn't do any live streams. So it pretty much all comes down to ad revenue. And I guess what you can expect is that 45% of the ad revenue from before would be here. And that kind of was accurate. For the month of September, I ended up making $220.06 in ad revenue. Like I said, no Super Chats. And that's definitely less, but it ends up being a total of $321.41, which is over 55% instead of 45% of what I had made, even though I got 45% of the views. And so coming down to the total passive income, and I just included half of the income that we made the last month in passive income, so $862.50. We ended up still doing absolutely no outward-facing work, $725. Oh, wrong color. It feels like a win because it's more than I thought that I'd be able to make doing nothing, but it was only $725 of passive income doing absolutely no work, and not having spent a ton of time building up this passive income source. And honestly, even though this isn't a lot of money, $1,500 of passive income over 2 months isn't like enough to really live on, but it can be life-changing money just in terms of what it can add to you if you already have other income sources. And it's just the beginning, because I think that over the next year or so, this number can double, triple, quadruple. I don't know how many times bigger it can be, but if you want to follow along for that journey, subscribe down below. To do that, I'm really excited to actually finally be getting back to work, because I haven't done that in ages, and you can see what I learned not doing any work in this video. You can watch how I plan to actually do some work in the van in this video, or the last income break that I did in this video. I'm so grateful that this is just the reality for me right now, even though it's not crazy, and so much of it is up to you guys watching and supporting the video. So thank you so much. Peace.